very easy for you to understand. When you know the meaning, you'll feel, oh, only this much. Okay, so when you read it, you may not be able to understand. Okay, go a little deeper, you'll get the meaning and it will be very easy for you to understand. So let us now go and understand what is the first quatrain. Shakespeare, he was not only famous for his dramas or plays, you can say. Okay, so other than this, he was also famous for his sonnets. So if it is warm blood, then the person is ready to do anything when he is young. Hello everyone, I am Dr. Shalini, Professor of English, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. We are here for the first session of the first sem B.B.A. So today we'll be learning about sonnet. Okay, so this is the Sonnet 2 prescribed for you by University of Mysore. So we shall begin now. So we are here to learn about the Sonnet 2, as I said, and this Sonnet 2 is actually written by William Shakespeare. Okay, so the author is William Shakespeare and this is the name of the sonnet. So this is what we are going to understand today. Okay, so let's begin. So in this module, you'll be learning about the author. Okay, you'll be learning something about the author. Then we'll also learn what is a sonnet, the definition of a sonnet we are going to understand. After that, what is the text of this sonnet, that is the whole poem you can call. Okay, so that we are going to understand. Then the first quatrain, second and third quatrain we are going to see. Then we'll have the couplet. Okay, then we'll understand the rhyme scheme of this sonnet. Okay, so I'll explain to you each thing in detail. So let us enter the session. Okay, so to begin with, I'll be telling you about the author. Okay, so he is William Shakespeare. Okay, so he is William Shakespeare. So he was born, he was a great English playwright. He was an author, he was a dramatist, he was a great actor also. Okay, so his plays were enacted on the stage, in the streets, and also everywhere it was Shakespeare, and you can say a kind of hawa. Okay, so he was a very great dramatist. Then he was born and raised in this place in England. Okay, so Warwickshire in England was the place where he was born in April. Okay, so he wrote books in various genres. Okay, genre is actually a French word. Okay, various types you can say. Okay, genre means various types of literature. You can say poem, drama, or maybe a novel. So all the genres he has written, and also he has written comedy, he has written tragedy, tragicomedy. Okay, so all the genres he has written the books. So that's the reason he is told to be a great dramatist, a great playwright. Okay, so he is actually famous for his sonnets. Sonnets are very short poems. Okay, we'll be learning about sonnets in the upcoming slides. Okay, Shakespeare, he was not only famous for his dramas or plays, you can say. Okay, so other than this, he was also famous for his sonnets. Okay, so we'll now understand what is a sonnet. Okay, so what is actually a sonnet? Okay, sonnet, this is not this Kia sonnet. That is different, this is different. Okay, so that is S-O-N-E-T, this is S-O-N-N-E-T. Okay, so what is a sonnet? It is actually a one stanza poem. It's actually a one stanza poem which has 14 lines in it. Okay, there are 14 lines in it. It altogether constitutes to one stanza only. Okay, in prose you call it paragraph, in poems you call it as stanzas. Okay, hope you know that. So this is actually derived from the Italian word, okay, sonetto. Okay, so Italian word sonetto means a little sound or a song. So they mean to say a small one. Okay, a poem, it can be very long, but a sonnet is very short and it actually does the impact what has to be done on the reader. Okay, so that is actually a sonnet. This sonnet can actually be broken into 4 sections. Okay, suppose there are 14 lines, you have 3 quatrains, 1 quatrain, 2 quatrains, 3 quatrains, and last 2 couplets. Okay, so this can be broken down into 4 sections and these are called as quatrains wherever there are 4 lines. Okay, so first 3 quatrains will contain 4 lines and they are called by this name quatrains. Okay, and it also follows a fixed rhyme scheme. Hope you remember this rhyme scheme we discussed in our previous session. Okay, you mark the rhyming words and you just give the names for those rhyming words, and whatever pattern is followed, they are considered as the rhyme scheme. That is considered as the rhyme scheme. Okay, so here you can see this constitutes the quatrain, and this has a different name, and this is called as a couplet. Okay, couplet is 2 line. Okay, 4 line quatrain, 2 lines couplet. Okay, so this is how a sonnet is divided into various sections. Okay, so let's now understand this sonnet. This is the text of the sonnet. Okay, so how many lines are there? There are only 7 lines. This will continue. This sonnet will continue in the next slide also. We'll just have a very quick reading. When 40 winters shall besiege thy brow, and dig deep trenches in thy beauty's field, thy youth's proud livery so gazed on now, will be tattered weed of small worth held. Then being asked where all thy beauty lies, where all the treasure of thy lusty days, to say within thine own deep sunken eyes. So you can notice many words, okay, so that is not used by you commonly, isn't it? So few words are there that are not used commonly by you. Okay, you have to concentrate on that. Okay, so this is actually, you can call it as, in Kannada you call it as Hale Kannada. So similarly you have this Old English. Okay, so the classic English. So Shakespeare used to follow that. Yeah, in his sonnets he has used such words, but in his novels and all he has used it in a different way, like it is as we speak there. Okay, so only in sonnets such words are used. Okay, so these are the 7 lines here. So you can see the first quatrain, that is the 4 lines. Okay, so these 3 and another 1 line will be, this will also go to the previous quatrain. Okay, so then is the next quatrain, and this is the couplet. Okay, so we were an all-eating shame and thriftless pride, how much more praise deserved thy beauty's use, of thou couldst answer, this fair child of mine shall sum my count and make my old excuse. You can see the conversation, what is there in this quatrain is the way you speak only. He has not used any Old English or classic English, what you say. Okay, so that is not used there. Proving his beauty by succession thine. So here he uses the Old English. Okay, so this were to be new made when thou art old, and see thy blood warm when thou feelst it cold. Okay, so this is the whole text of this sonnet. So we'll now go a little deeper into each quatrain. It is very easy, okay, very easy for you to understand. When you know the meaning, you'll feel, oh, only this much. Okay, so when you read it, you may not be able to understand. Okay, go a little deeper, you'll get the meaning, and it will be very easy for you to understand. So let us now go and understand what is the first quatrain. Okay, what does this first quatrain mean? So first lines 1 to 4. Okay, so when 40 winters shall besiege thy brow, 40 winters. Here the poet actually means, what does the poet mean by 40 winters? Okay, he uses winters in place of years. Okay, he means to say he is talking about somebody who is 40 years old. Okay, he is now talking about somebody who is 40 years old. Okay, so and dig deep trenches in thy beauty's field. So he is talking about the beauty, and here dig deep trenches. So this deep trenches, he is talking about the wrinkles on the face. So this trenches actually means wrinkles. Okay, so here you must notice we spoke about rhyme scheme, we spoke about some figures of speech and all. When there is a poem, the poet actually uses one or the other figure of speech, like simile, metaphor, alliteration, something like this. Okay, so here also there is a alliteration, there is one of the figures of speech that is used. Okay, so that is alliteration. You can see the repetition of sounds. Dig deep. Okay, so besiege thy brow. So there is a repetition of sounds. B, the. So like this, there is a repetition, and that figure of speech is called as alliteration. Okay, so this alliteration is a figure of speech. Okay, alliteration actually means repetition of sound. It is a figure of speech. Okay, it is not parts of speech. Do not confuse. Parts of speech is different. Noun, pronoun, adjective, adverb, that is parts of speech. Okay, so this is figure of speech, and this is nothing but the repetition of sound. Okay, so this is repetition of sound. So this is called as alliteration. So this repetition of sound is called as alliteration. Now coming back to the poem. So he's talking about the wrinkles on the beautiful face. Okay, he's comparing this trenches to the wrinkles. Okay, so that is a metaphor. Okay, so another figure of speech that is used is metaphor. Okay, so this metaphor is nothing but comparison. Like simile, this is also comparison. Okay, simile, it is little different. They use the words, simile uses words like or maybe as, adjective as, or something like that. Okay, metaphor, it is just a comparison. Okay, so here he compares that. Okay, so he compares that wrinkles to trenches. Okay, so on beauty's field, thy youth's proud livery, so gazed on now. So now the beautiful face is being gazed. Okay, so what is gazed? To look at somebody without even blinking. That is called as gazing. Okay, so that is the youth will be gazed there, will be tottered weed of small worth held. As of now, the youth, whatever he is talking about, the fair youth. Okay, so he or she, whatever. Okay, he is only giving that word youth. Okay, he is not talking whether it is male or female. Okay, so they will be gazed. They are beautiful, so people are turning towards them and looking at them. Okay, but after 40 years, what is going to happen? The beauty will go down and they are going to have wrinkles on their face. That is what the poet is trying to tell over here. Okay, so what is the structure of the poem? I just introduced this slide here in order for you to understand what is the poem structure. So as I told, here you can see the poem is divided into 3 quatrains. Okay, you have 3 4-line the parts. Okay, so that is called as a quatrain. That is the set of 4 lines. Okay, and 1 concluding couplet is there. Okay, that means it is only 2 rhyming lines, only last 2 lines, that is called as the couplet. Okay, so that is there. It actually follows the consistent rhyme scheme. Okay, so it follows this rhyme scheme. I'll tell you how does it follow this rhyme scheme in the coming slides. Okay, so this is the rhyme scheme that it follows. Okay, and each line actually contains 2 beats. Okay, it contains 2 beats. How is it? So this A is 1 beat, B is another beat. Okay, so there are 2 beats in each line. Okay, so here this contains 5 sets of beats. Okay, so this is actually the structure of this sonnet, for any sonnet for that matter. Okay, so this sonnet has such a rhyme scheme. Okay, so then going to the second quatrain. Okay, that is the second set of 4 lines. Okay, so here you can see, then being asked where all thy beauty lies. So later, after a little time, this youth is asked, where did this beauty go? Where all the treasure of thy lusty days. Okay, lust, that something that attracts you. Lust means something that attracts you, okay, or seduces, you can say. Okay, that is it. And all the treasure of thy lusty days. So where does this attraction go? Okay, so all this attraction goes to say within thine down deep sunken eyes. Eyes also get sunk in. Okay, they are not as attractive as before. Okay, so where does all this go? Where an all-eating shame and thriftless praise. Like everybody used to praise that fair youth. Okay, so the poet is now asking, as age grows, okay, as age advances, where all this beauty goes. Okay, so here you cannot see any alliteration or anything like that. Okay, so there is no alliteration. Alliteration comes only when the beginning word, okay, there is a repetition of sound in the beginning of the word. Okay, if it is at the end, you need not have to consider it as alliteration. Okay, so here the poet asks where the beauty has gone. Okay, so that is the question in the second quatrain. Okay, so coming to this third quatrain, that is the third set of 4 lines. Here you can see how much praise deserved thy beauty's use. Okay, so much of praise was there. Okay, so much of praise that fair youth deserved, that much he or she has already received during their youthful days. Okay, if thou couldst answer this fair child of mine, shall sum my count and make my old excuse. Now the poet gives a suggestion. Okay, so as the age advances, so he is suggesting, he is telling that those people who are getting age to give their beauty, I mean to say, to advise the young people. Okay, and the poet wants the old people to advise the young people to be beautiful by heart. Okay, so he tells them how beauty can be maintained. Okay, so he's telling, in this fair child of mine, I mean to say my child, which is very fair, which is youthful, has to have a beautiful heart, shall sum my count. So how I was, he or she will also continue to be like that and make my old excuse. So when I am old, I don't feel bad. Okay, because my child is there who can continue living the way I lived when I was young. So that is what the poet is trying to say here, proving his beauty by succession thine. So here, child, okay, the fair child of that old person who is growing old has succeeded. Okay, so he takes succession and he leads the life as a young boy or a young girl. Okay, so that is what is the poet trying to say. The old man or old woman, whatever, okay, the old person has to inculcate or just pass on the beauty of heart in the fair youth's hearts. Okay, so that is what the poet is trying to say in this quatrain. Now we'll move on to the last couplet. Okay, couplet, a set of 2 lines. Okay, so here, this were to be new made when thou art old. So when the person grows old, okay, and see thy blood warm when thou feels it cold. Okay, so here the warm blood. Okay, warm blood is nothing but the young person. Okay, in Kannada you call it as bisi rakta, right? So that young is the warm blood, and when this old man's blood goes on cold, he's not talking about the temperature of the blood here. Okay, so that that enthusiasm what one has while he is young. Like when you are young, you're ready to do anything, isn't it? You're ready to do this, you're ready to take up any kind of job. If you want to quarrel with somebody, fight with somebody, you're ready for everything. So that kind of warm blood, okay, so that is there in the youth. Okay, so whereas in the old people, that is not there. Okay, little aged, when you grow little aged, you mature enough. Okay, so you don't want to quarrel with people, you want your peace of mind, so you try to be calm. Okay, that means the poet is referring this blood, like if it is warm blood, then the person is ready to do anything when he is young. Okay, so when he is old, the blood is little cold. That means the enthusiasm would have come down. Okay, so that is what the poet is referring by using this warm blood and cold blood. Okay, so this is there in the couplet. Okay, so altogether, what is the summary of the poem? It is like beauty may come and go, but the beauty of heart has to be maintained as it is. Okay, so when you grow old, you just pass on the maturity, pass on the advice to the young people, so that they will lead a very good life and they can be your successors. Okay, like you were living when you were young, so the same way they can lead a life, but they will have that beauty of heart within them. Okay, so they will have that, your advice gives them some maturity in making decisions. So altogether, this is the summary of this sonnet. Okay, so we'll now look into the rhyme scheme of this poem. Okay, in one of the slides I told you this follows a regular rhyme scheme. So what is a rhyme scheme? How do we mark the rhyme scheme over here? Here you can identify the rhyming words in each line. Okay, so how do you identify? So here you can see bro, now, field, held. Okay, it ends with the same sound. Okay, so then here it is lies and days. Okay, I'll come to this little later. So here when you find the similar rhyming words, you can give a name to it. You can give either a small letter or a capital letter. I'm going to consider capital letter. Okay, so this is not rhyming with this, so I give a different name. This rhymes with this, so I'm giving a similar name. Like what name I gave here, the same name I'm giving here. This rhymes with this, so for this also I'm giving the same name. Okay, so what is this altogether? It is A-B. Okay, so this is the rhyme scheme for the first quatrain. Okay, so here lies, again it is not rhyming with any of these, so I'm going to give a different name here, E. And lies and days, they are not rhyming. Okay, so this is not rhyming, so this I'm going to give a different name, that is F. Lies and eyes, They are rhyming. So I'm going to give the same name. Since these both are rhyming, I'm going to give E only. Remember this word, it is days. Okay, so that will rhyme with this, praise. Okay, days and praise are rhyming. So what do we do? So here it is F I have given. So here also I'm giving F. Okay, so what was the sentence, what was the rhyme scheme for this quatrain? It is E, F, E, F. Okay, so next, going to the next one, use and excuse. So these are rhyming. So for these, I'm going to give a different name because this is not rhyming with this. Praise, use, it is actually different. Okay, so the pronunciation is different. So what do? You give a different name over there. So here you can say G. Okay, so then this is rhyming with this. So for these two, you give a similar name. So for this quatrain, the rhyme scheme is this. Okay, so that's it. And the couplet, it will rhyme, cold and old. Okay, so you can give a name for this also. Okay, so you can give a name for this. So this is the rhyme scheme to mark. Okay, let us now understand about the rhyme scheme. Okay, so how do you mark the rhyme scheme? You just have to mark the rhyming words first. Okay, so first you just have to mark the rhyming words that is in the end of the line. Okay, so here you can see bro, it rhymes with now. Okay, bro, now. So for this you are giving a name. Okay, so for this, see, suppose you say field and held. Okay, so they're ending with the same word. So you're giving a different name for that. Okay, you can either give a small letter or a big letter, capital letter. So I'm just considering this capital letter. It is easy for you to understand. So the rhyme scheme for this is A, B, A, B. Okay, so we'll go to the next one. That is the next quatrain. So lies and eyes. So these both are rhyming. Okay, so you give a different name for this. Okay, and here you have days and the next quatrain. Okay, so this quatrain is the one line is in the next slide. Okay, so days I'm giving D over here and that rhymes with praise. Okay, so this is again D. So what will be the quatrain, the rhyme scheme for this quatrain? There is another line which has D over there. So I can write it as CD, CD. Okay, so this is how you name it. So going to the next one. So here you have use, excuse. Okay, then you have mine, thine. Okay, so here you can give a name for this, E and F. Okay, so this quatrain, the rhyme scheme is E, F, E, F. Okay, so here you have couplet wherein only the two words in the end rhyme with each other. Okay, it is GG. Okay, so here the rhyme scheme altogether, the rhyme scheme when you consider, as we saw in one of the slides, so the total rhyme scheme what you can say is AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF and GG. Okay, so this is the first quatrain, second quatrain, third quatrain and a couplet. 4 lines, 4 lines, 4 lines and 2 lines. Okay, so altogether it is a sonnet. Okay, 12 lines plus 2 lines, altogether 14 lines. Okay, so this is how you mark a rhyme scheme for a sonnet. Okay, so what we'll do is we have already learnt about this sonnet number 2. We'll be learning about few annotations and all when you come to the class. Okay, we'll discuss about it in the class. Okay, so let us meet again with another more interesting topic with the next poem in your first sem syllabus. Okay, so see you soon children with another more interesting topic. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.